so far beyond like the individual.
Yeah.
Like, sure, the power is within your body, but then like the community wide, like if we can spread this to everyone and everyone can collectively like decolonize their bodies and take back that power from patriarchy and be like, no, yeah, like my body is perfect how it is. You don't need to sell me like razors and hair removal and Botox and whatever else. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
why? Like, no, my body is perfect how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And learning to like listen, and you're right, like it is such a feminine sort of thing that I believe every human has access to but like listening to your body and that like to listen to your body, you have to be quiet. You have to really like
Yeah.
sink in. You have to learn how to be still
Mm-hmm.
and to quiet all of the voices that are coming at you constantly and just say like and listen to it's like very intuitive. And that is and like intuition is something that isn't really rewarded or taught in our culture right now, like in the patriarchal framework of our society right now. And like it's so revolutionary and amazing to be able to like delve into somatics and help other people learn that
Yeah.
too,
It literally is like a key in a lock
Yes,
to
yes.
being able to step out of if you're ready, being able to step out of the constant grind of drama
Oh yeah.
that we constantly find ourselves in because we think that clear, open, honest communication is gay or girly. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm starting to understand that neurodivergent, neurospicy people tend to have a little more empathy and a little more ability to see outside themselves. And when other people in the world experience that, they kind of freak out about it. And I really think that some of it comes from fear and guilt. It's like when you meet a really good person,
Mhm.
but you don't feel like a really good person, and maybe you're not a good person. And so you take it personally that that good person exists in the world.
Mhm.
And you go out of your way to tear that good person down instead of looking at that good person's example and kind of moving in accordance with it to become a good person yourself. And I feel like humanity is turning a corner finally,
I'm so
where,
excited.
where a lot of us are openly talking about our feelings, openly talking about our experiences. Um, and the more that we share, the more that we are vulnerable and open to each other, the more that people are going to understand that that's possible and that there is a community of people out here who are willing to hold you in a place of safety and grace so
Mhm.
that you can share the pain that you've gone through. And that is
Share.
the healer's journey.
Yeah, it is. And a lot and so much of it like is taught like if you want to look at it through the like rubric of like somatics, which is, like feeling things in the body.
Yeah.
Like it is so revolutionary, it is so powerful to teach people not just like first they go through that feel that like the first initial like, oh my God, I'm feeling everything. And it feels like the world is ending because it kind of is, and your entire framework might be just falling apart. And like
Yeah.
it's intense, like when you
Oh,
first start connecting and you're absolutely right. Like there's a community of people here ready. We have been through it. We can
yeah.
help you. We can hold you physically through this as these emotions are literally manifesting inside of your body or your soma.
Yeah.
And then you can move beyond it. Like you can get beyond that. There's healing. There's another side. Like you can move into a space in your day-to-day life where you feel things and sorry.
Oh no, you're good. My neck is cold.
Oh yeah, no, I just flipped my laptop up. It's fine. Um, and like you can, after you get through that initial like the world is ending, oh my God, I don't know how to handle, because like it does at first, like you're gonna have decades, I mean, depending how old you are, but probably decades of suppressed like emotions and feelings and physical things that you just, your body is like, hey, thanks for paying attention, here it all is.
Yeah.
But you can
And
move past it, and it's beautiful. And you can get to a place where it's not a big deal anymore. And you can take that time and you know what your body needs and you listen and you move past it. And like there's a community, it's so beautiful. Like that's why I love somatics, is that it's like you like there's this beautiful process of people who heal. And like you don't have to stay in the like healing phase. You don't have to stay in like the like it feels so intense. Like you said, like you don't feel like a good person and maybe you're not a good person
yeah,
and you're learning and there's this like jet lag of like, oh, I'm like, I know what to do, but I can't always do it. And I'm trying. And it's just like kind of like rough
yeah,
period. And then you like, but you can move past that. And like one day you look back and you're like, oh wait, yeah, like I am doing better. I am making better choices.
yeah,
I'm listening to my body's cues. I'm making decisions that honor my soul and my body and my needs. And it's beautiful.
yeah,
Like it's so cool once we like are in alignment with our bodies and our souls, and once we get like all of that together, like yes, it's
yeah,
incredible. And you're absolutely right. There's a whole community of us who are going through it and who have gone through it and are just waiting to like help other people through that, you know? Like you said, the healer's journey, like this is
yeah,
what we're here to do. And it's so exciting. I can't wait.
yeah.
Like
I'm
this is
I'm I'm really wanting a world that doesn't need us as much. I I
mhm,
I want a world where um therapy and the whole mental illness contingent isn't necessary
yeah,
because we don't exist in a society that's an emotional and mental abattoir every day.
right.
You know, each of us goes through our own private hell in this place. I believe John Trudell once said, protect your spirit, for you are in the place where spirits get eaten. And this is a rough place to be in.
Yeah, it is.
And and I thought it would just be rough and awful my entire life. I was just like, oh, it's just gonna suck. I might as well get used to eating shit sandwiches. And and then I started reading The Politics of Trauma and The Body Keeps the Score, and started learning about somatics and getting involved with the Straussy School for somatics.
Mm,
And the different modalities of psychological, I don't want to say influence because influence has kind of a negative connotation, but it's almost like a different psychological way of having a conversation where you can meet someone where they are and reach a hand out to them and have a dialogue that maybe helps open them a little more to a bigger possibility in the world. And the first time that someone has that conversation, it's really scary. You
oh
know,
yeah.
you see someone living a life that is not full of shame and guilt and self-hatred. And there's almost a light that comes from them, and you want to be around them. And, it's everyone can get here.
Yeah.
You don't need money. You don't need stuff. The one thing that you must have is at least a few very deeply trusted friends or a community of people that you can be vulnerable with. Because instead of sitting in a therapist's office, you're going to be sharing with people that you love and trust deeply, and they will hold space for you. And in turn, you can hold space for them. And that's what relationships should be,
Yeah.
is
And
where
it's
we
a daily
gently hold
thing.
space for each other to understand and converse, you know, be heard, be known.
Yeah. And it's a daily thing. Like it's not, it should be something that's every day you're embodying and you're learning, and like it can't be like put into, okay, you have an hour appointment with this person. That's
Yeah,
why community is so important. Like these are things that happen slowly over time. This is not,
yeah.
like, I mean, I think that's why a lot of people struggle with it too. Like it's not a quick fix. You're not
It
going to
doesn't,
change your life
it doesn't have to be slow
instantly.
though.
Well,
If
not
you have,
slow.
if you have a community of people, it's a lot, all of this is about rebuilding trust. And when you have a larger subset, scientifically, if you have a larger subset of people to engage with who respond in a positive way when you have stress in your life. And I'm not talking, coming to your house at 3 in the morning and being like, "Meh, meh, meh," but it's
Right.
somebody that you can call and I have these feelings and I'm not comfortable with these feelings. Can I talk to you about them? And the more that you're able to share and be heard and be known and be supported and appreciated through that process,
Oh
the
yeah.
faster the process is,
Oh, for
because
sure.
it's like an exercise. It's an exercise like anything else. It's like going to the gym, but for relationships.
Right.
You know?
Relationship gyms.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're, I mean, perhaps slow wasn't the right way, more that it like is just a daily, like it
Oh
just,
yeah. Oh
it
yeah.
takes on its own life, and then it
It does.
becomes like it permeates your entire existence. It's every
Yeah.
interaction that you start having, you start noticing the difference and you can apply it quicker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
something that I want to see in the world. I want to see um everyone realizing that they're their own healers. And that's the other thing too. Like no one can do it for you, but you do also need community. Like you need the community to support you. But at the end of the day, like you've got what you need, babe. Like you've got everything you need. You have it in you. You
Yeah.
just have to ferment it. You just have to grow it. You have to do the work and show up for yourself
Yeah.
and learn to love yourself and like learn all of that stuff for yourself, and also learn to like share that with community. Learn to exist not by yourself but with other people. Learn that sharing, build those relationships. But like at the end of the day, like who's healing you? It's no one special. It's just you. Like you got it, you
Yeah.
know? Everyone has it within themselves.
Yeah.
Everyone has that ability. Their body has the knowledge. Their body and their soul knows what to do. Like you just have, like you said, you have to have the opportunity, you have to have the community, but like you don't need money. Like you said, you don't need, you know, a subscription or whatever else. Like it's just you and people and souls sharing an experience,
Yeah. I mean,
communication.
I get that people need to make money to live,
Ugh.
but we're in late stage capitalism and we're quickly heading to ugly places because of money.
Right.
And quite frankly, I'd like to be in a society where everything isn't monetized as fuck, and where,
Yeah.
where every interaction isn't seen as an exchange, you know, as a
Yeah.
transaction.
Yeah.
There are lots of lots of things that need to be addressed in the world.
Oh yeah. I
And
mean,
we
this
start
is,
by addressing that in ourselves as well.
it's literally like the tip of the iceberg. It's like the tiny little pebble on top of the iceberg. Like we're not even, somatics is one important piece,
Yeah.
but it is so far from being like, it's not the answer. Like, there are so many different answers to like, how do we build a better world? How do we build a better community? How do we live better lives?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
somatics is one incredibly powerful, wonderful piece,
Yeah.
but it's one piece. It's one tiny piece, and there's just so much.
Yeah.
But like you can either look at that in an overwhelming way, like, oh God, there's so much, or you can be like, there's so much that we can do, and like every little bit does count.
Mm-hmm.
And to kind of bring it back to what you were saying about how like if you are in a community and you are sharing, like those changes are like expedited. You start noticing them quicker. Like I think that's how the world is going to change for the better.
Yeah.
All of us start doing small things for ourselves and then we start branching out and it's just going to grow that way. But,
Well, the
you know,
when you do the work that you need to do for yourself,
mhm,
you then become a person who, by the way that you carry yourself and the way you communicate, it kind of shows people that that's possible. And that can also be a change as well. You know,
yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
sometimes it can be a catalyzing force,
Right.
you know. You never know what kind of conversation or thing needs to happen for someone to change the way that they see the world.
True. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like how much and how little we can do and like how impactful the small things are.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even like as simple like this morning I was kind of like thinking about this topic and I think about it a lot. It's kind of I try to embody it in what I do on a day-to-day basis. And also like I'm constantly checking in with myself. But anyway,
Yeah.
I was thinking about how powerful it is when I started just changing my internal dialogue about myself. Like that small I was like, I can't at the beginning of my whole journey where I'm like, I actively hated myself. I like had so much shame, so much contempt, so much like it's
Oof.
just so heavy every day.
Yeah.
And like to the point that I just didn't want to like live in my own body. I was so disassociated. It was crazy. Like it was literally like it was so bad. Like I can't the depths of darkness and pain. But like for me to start saying like I'm gonna stop or I'm gonna change the way that I think and internally
Yeah.
about my body. Instead of saying like, oh my God, my body's sabotaging me because I'm sick all the time. I started saying like, like I'm sick all the time. What do I need? What is my body telling me that I need? And or starting saying like, hey, like my body's needs aren't being met. And just starting changing little things about how I viewed myself, or like, oh God, like I'm so ugly. That doesn't solve anything.
Yeah.
And starting to change, like, okay, I have a face, I have a body, I have these features, and they're serve a purpose. I have, like they help me experience the world.
Yeah.
They're and I started there and like that seems so small and so insignificant. And like legitimately, if you asked me like even 2 years ago if I could live a life without shame, I wouldn't have believed you. Like, no way. But
Yeah. Right.
I mean, and it comes up still. Like those
Oh,
roots
yeah.
storm deep.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Programming is deep,
yeah,
but
but
like, oh my God,
it gets easier to walk through. Like the
it
first time, it feels
does.
like you're gonna die.
It
You're like,
does.
that's it. That's it. I tap out. But like the more you fight through it, the more you stay with it,
Hmm.
the more it's like that thing happens again, and you're like, oh, but that's not as bad as it was.
It's not as devastating. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I've things start to look familiar. And you're like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I've been here before. I know how to get through this. I know I've survived this before. And you start to see like with little changes, you start to see like, oh my God, like a better way is possible. Like I like myself now. It's crazy. I legitimately never, ever, ever, like, child me is inside me being like ourselves now. Like, what? That's crazy. That's awesome, though. And like, once you start, and at least, I mean, my personal journey, though, is like the more that I was compassionate to myself, the more compassion I'm able to give other people too.
Yeah.
And the better community I am to me, to myself, when I go in and do that shadow work and all my little like past hurt selves and all of that trauma that I can befriend and be gentle with and I practice there, all of a sudden I'm realizing, hey, I have that same capacity for other people. When other people bring their like traumas or whatever they're throwing at me,
Yeah.
I'm like, I've done this before. I've done this for me and
Yeah.
I can do this for other people. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, that's such a powerful thing to be able to do, to recognize, okay, wow, yeah, like I can see, even if I don't personally know like everything about your story, I can see that you're coming at me with pain. I can see you're coming at me with like all of the stuff
Yeah.
because I've done that to me. I have patience for you too. It's okay. You know, like how cool is that?
Yeah.
And that's, I think, a way that we can change and start like being a force of good for the world. And it takes, I mean, it takes a lot of effort, but not like, you know, you don't have to be making a ton of money for that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I wish that, ooh, the health industry
Oh
in
God,
in this
don't get me started.
is just, the faddishness with which someone will take honest, open, authentic communications and then try to fake it for money. It just, I
Yeah,
don't, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. you know, you're right. One true cripple for profit healthcare is unethical as fuck. It is, between that and between health gurus who are questionable at best,
I
it's
know.
just, it's a mess to navigate, you
It
know?
really is. Yeah. And I mean, even well-intentioned people just, yeah, it's a hot mess out there right now, for sure. Especially with health stuff. Like there's so much misinformation. And I think we're starting to realize too how, like, I don't know if this is just I, the way information is changing, the way we're understanding things, or if we're just moving into like a new kind of society or world, but realizing like everybody is so different.
Oh yeah.
Like you can't sit here and tell me that this very specific random thing that works for you is gonna work for everyone. Like it's just not.
Yeah.
Like there is no one size fits all for health. Like you can't standardize that.
Yeah.
Like all of us have very specific health and emotional and psychological and social needs
Yeah.
that aren't like honestly, is anyone's needs being met right now? Like just
Yeah.
is anyone getting good health care? Is anyone getting like all of their like socioeconomic, like social, relational needs fully met? Like
Yeah.
it seems like maybe not.
Yeah. There's a book that my friend Raven recommended, um about how mental diagnosis, how mental
Mm,
illness is simply a reaction to your environment, to your social
interesting.
environment. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting idea. I know that there are medications that a lot of people, I myself am on medication for depression, but would I need medication for depression if I didn't live in a society where every time I wanted to have a real connection with somebody for the first 30 years of my life, it was all like this mysterious fucking maze of convoluted words to
Mm.
try to understand what somebody was really saying.
Right.
And that's fucking exhausting.
It is. It is so exhausting. And like, I don't know. It's crazy how people, well, not crazy, but it's just exhausting, like you said. And I do definitely, in my own experience, I feel like that makes sense. That I think not, maybe not all of our like issues, mental health issues would disappear, but like I think if we restructured society in a way where people's needs were met where they are and for what they actually need, and instead of everyone being like, well, everyone's got to work X amount of hours to make a living, everyone's got to do this, everyone's got to like, you
Mm-hmm.
need to have this kind of relationship, you need to have this, like the one true person, your whole life is going to be the one true person, like, and then all of these, like you're saying, social gymnastics, where you're just like, what are you even saying? Like, why are we running in circles? Just say what you mean. Just tell me what you mean. Like,
Exactly.
and there's so, like, I think that's in a way that society is starting to change. And I really am hoping that it continues. And like the younger generations very much have a very low tolerance of
Oh yeah.
bullshit.
Much
And they're like,
respect for
oh,
Gen Z. Much
yeah,
respect.
oh,
Holy shit.
100%. Like, yes, you guys know like what's up.
Yeah.
And
And we
they
are
have a lot
we
to
are
learn.
here to support you.
Yeah.
You know?
And they have a lot to learn. They're very young still, but like
Yeah, but we were,
they've also got a lot of really good stuff. And
oh yeah.
just the like the mental health, the thing that worries me about the mental health diagnosis and stuff too is like it's
Mhm.
really hard to get things removed. If like one doctor decides he doesn't like you,
Yep.
you've got like bipolar on your record forever, even if you don't really have it, or like all of it's very subjective and can be infected by your environment. Like I've had mental health stuff that like surprise surprise disappeared when I left abusive relationships. Weird how that happens, where I was like, huh,
Yep.
I'm not as depressed. I'm not as anxious. I'm not exhibiting all of these other symptoms that I was exhibiting
Oh yeah.
while I was in the throes of an abusive relationship. And maybe I wasn't crazy. Maybe I just was in a really bad situation, was reacting in a way that made sense for being in an unsustainable environment.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Like,
Well, the relationships that I've been in that were abusive, um,
mhm,
towards the end, I would get positive that there was something that it was my fault and my problem, and so I needed to commit myself because clearly I'm the one at fault.
yeah,
And now I'm like, wow, fuck that entirely.
like, oh, go figure. Maybe I just was having like reacting to an environment that wasn't healthy. And I think that's maybe a way that our brains and bodies start telling us, like, hey, this isn't like something's wrong. You need to get out. You need to leave.
I think that there is no one that is one true cripple. May I ask a question about abusive relationships that may be triggering? Yes, please. Hi, Stray Lego. Thank you for the comment. And hi, Resonant Moon.
I've never streamed before. I'm very old.
It's all good.
We're good here. It's fine. I know what technology is.
hmm I tend to think that I tend to think that oh, see, this is the problem when doing this when you're high. Sometimes you lose your train of thought. Um, God, we're so fractious with each other. And we there's a whole lot of things that the governing bodies put in place so that we're always at odds with each other instead of actually getting together and speaking authentically speaking from the heart, like for real, no bullshit. You're opening yourself up and you're being vulnerable to another human being in a moment when they're going through great pain. What a gift that must be to receive that from someone. When I have been just devastated, it was amazing to have that vulnerability and support. Okay, one true cripple. He's saying, okay, story time. An on again, off again partner of mine just found out that her nesting partner went through her Google account while she was up visiting me. He found old conversations with my friend's ex that, when taken out of context, could be seen as cheating. It wasn't. Now she feels like she owes him closure in order to leave. Thoughts? I have to read it again. I think that a conversation should happen. It's going to be really uncomfortable for both people, but an uncomfortable conversation has to happen about the trust that was broken on both sides.
Yeah.
It's the frustration is that a lot of people, they feel that it's that exposes them if they express that this thing that they found, I feel some kind of way about it, and I kind of need to talk to you to address it. And I think that if we were able to, oh, hang on.
I actually had something too.
Yeah, please.
Are they still typing?
It says, yeah, she told me she doesn't know how to tell him she's done. Well, I mean, so I guess the conversation that needs to happen with your friend then would be, okay, are you done, or are you, I want to have a conversation with you, because if we don't talk about this, we're done. That needs to be established.
Oh,
And
for sure.
and if a conversation needs to happen, then, oh, she's done, then does she still tell, it's becoming a an advice podcast. The best way to express that is if she does it somewhere and in a way where she feels safe. Because otherwise, if she doesn't feel entirely safe, she'll be nervous, and men interpret that as lying. Right? So
in my experience, that's been the case, yeah.
Oh no, you're not derailing at all. This is a good conversation.
Oh yeah. I actually can tie that into somatics too.
Yeah.
Like, so when you have these conversations, like a lot of times, like even reading this empathetically, I'm feeling like that tightness in my chest. I'm feeling my body like, oh God, it feels like physically heavy,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like that is activating your, my biology teacher would be so mad at me. I'm forgetting if it's the sympathetic or the parasympathetic nervous system, but it's one of the nervous systems that's telling you you're in danger. And that's not just your emotions, it's also your physical body is being flooded with hormones that's literally telling you you are in danger. So you've got either the fight, flight, fawn, or freeze response, and everyone has a different one, and you might have multiple. But when I would say, like, when you have these conversations, do it in a place where you can like comfort and reassure that your bodies are safe. Like, tell your nervous system while you're having this conversation that you're safe. Like, whatever that is. Like, I don't know if you're in person, but like do it in a neutral place,
Yeah.
like whatever, like have water nearby, like take deep breaths, make sure you establish certain things like, hey, we're gonna like like do not underestimate the power of deep breathing. That is a great reset
Mm-hmm.
for your nervous system. When you started talking and you start getting like agitated and you feel your nervous system telling you to like, hey, we're like, this is scary, this is dangerous, just do the deep breathing all the way into your belly and let it out as many times as you need to. Take breaks. Like while you're having these conversations, pay attention to what your body's doing because it's going to affect how you approach the other person. It's going to affect the energy you bring to the conversation, and that could alter it. Like if you want to have, it's hard to have these conversations. These conversations are scary. They're
Yeah.
hard, especially if you have a history of these kinds of conversations not going well. You have neural pathways already telling you this isn't going to end well.
Yeah.
You're in danger. Don't do
Yeah.
this. Your body is telling you this, but it's not necessarily true. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to train your body like, hey, we're safe. We can have this conversation. We're like, I'm in charge. It's okay. I'm in charge of my reactions. We are safe. You can have these little, like, you can do things. You can practice somatics to, like, really, truly reassure your nervous system and to make sure that you actually have the conversation you want to have, instead of like coming out shooting at the hip and being very, like, reactive, which isn't often, it's not the, like, it's not going to have the dialogue that you want to have. And to like really truly have those open, vulnerable, and also tell them like, hey, I'm feeling like really reactive. I'm feeling this way. Like I feel whatever, and like encourage the other person to check in with themselves. Like as you're having this conversation, I'm feeling this way. How are you feeling while
Yeah.
we have this talk? And I think that really humanizes and helps us bring it back to the core issue that we're just two humans trying to work through something. Like
Mm-hmm.
what is our goal with this conversation? Like
Yeah.
hopefully that didn't derail it either, but like that's really truly like how I've learned to have, like, I got the opportunity to have a uncomfortable situation too, where in the past I would have just been like, nope, like my defenses are up, my body's telling me this is bad, but I could bring it in, calm down, like somatically like check in with myself and reassure my nervous system that like we don't have to fight. Like
Mm-hmm.
the immediate reaction that we've been trained to have, we can do it different.
Yeah.
So that's, just would be my advice.
I'm really grateful for your friendship. I am
Thank
so
you.
grateful for your presence in my life.
Oh my
Thank you
goodness.
for saying yes to the interview.
Me?
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I'm so grateful for your friendship too. Like truly,
Yeah.
I'm so excited you invited me on.
Yeah. And I'm grateful for the friendship, the new friendship of everybody in the chat and of all the old friends who are here as well. Thank you for being part of this new odd thing that's happening.
It's wonderful and it's weird
Yeah.
and I mean, honestly, like it's hard,
Honey, I'm
you know?
old and I own it.
Yeah,
So
it's hard, but we're doing it.
ah, we love you too, Astray Lego. Oh,
Here's to all y'all.
yeah.
But really, like, I don't know. Somatics to me feels so liberating in so many ways.
It's it's very helpful to get in touch with your body, to know what you want
Mhm.
and what you need. It is
Yes.
essential for your neurological health, emotional health, to be really clear on what you and your body like and do not like.
And if you have issues with boundaries,
Yeah.
like that was one of my very, like, I'm so bad at boundaries, or I have been in the past. Like,
Mhm.
just let people walk all over me.
God, that's hard. Okay, a
And
stray Lego,
oh yeah.
they have a question or prompt if there is time.
I mean, I don't have anything going on.
All right, a stray
I
Lego.
don't have a life. I mean, I do, but I cleared my calendar for this.
Yeah, me too. We're still figuring this out, or I'm still figuring this whole studio thing out. So it's
Yep.
kind of seat of the pantsy, it's also, yeah, we're authentically relating, you know.
Yay. I love this. But there's not enough of this in the world. And I think honestly, just us doing this and having this conversation is so powerful.
Oh yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
what's the question or prompt? I'm excited.
All right, I'm waiting.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Okay,
if it was
what's
up
what's
yet.
the question?
But I really am so glad that we're having these. Like, I'm so glad you went ahead and set up this, even though it is very like we're figuring it out as we go, like that's just how the best things start though. Like sometimes you just have to like take that leap,
Yeah.
and we just have to have the conversations. We just have to be honest sometimes. Like, okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about it. Let's share this conversation so other people can hear because I think it's so important. It's so important for humans. And
Yeah.
as we evolve and as we get into this like next phase of how we like the world that we want to see, the world that's more equitable, a world that's healthier for everybody. Like that's all I want. Like I want every human being on earth to feel safe and loved and valued and have
Yeah.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
world I want.
Yeah,
You
me
know,
too. Me
I want
too.
all of us to heal.
Yeah.
And how do we get there? Because like where that is to where we are right now is there's a lot to do.
There's a lot to
Um,
address, and it has taken generations to get here.
oh, oh yeah.
I
Like
mean,
we are standing on the shoulders of so many beautiful and brave individuals
oh yeah.
who
Oh yeah.
have lost their lives or, just taken so many risks to get us to where we are that we can have these conversations. But I also think that's why these conversations are so important because we've got to reach an understanding. We've got to reach a place where we are able to be vulnerable with each other. Like, oh my God,
Yeah.
it's so hard, but also like once you do it, like it's so much better over here.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
much better. Like it's a better way to live. I just
yeah,
even
it
though
is.
it feels very scary, and to anyone who's like not there on their journey yet, because like some people are not ready,
And
they've got
that's
to go through a
okay.
lot of
It's
things, and
okay.
that's fine. And to them,
Yeah.
I would say it's okay, don't rush it
Yeah.
because it is terrifying. It's terrifying
You're
when
doing an
you're on that other
amazing
side.
job, One True Cripple. You really are. I'm so proud of you, man.
Yeah, but they're just, like,
Oh, hang on. We got all right.
okay,
Yes,
good.
Stray Lego is asking, for those of us who survived a toxic family system, especially a toxic family system that is still actively reinforcing a false narrative to disenfranchise the black sheep, what is your best advice for recovering, developing a true sense of self outside the toxic family programming, and how to manage the confrontational conflict of the aggressive family members that doesn't deny their own toxicity and their flying monkeys? It's
Wow. I'm sorry you're dealing with this.
yeah,
First of all, like that's
you are not alone.
no.
There are so many more people who engage with toxic family. I mean, there's a reason that there are jokes about having Christmas with your shitty conservative parent or your shitty liberal parent, depending on whatever side of the spectrum you're on.
Parents, your
Yeah,
parents who are like whoever they are. I mean,
yeah. But
it
I
can
mean,
be
it's
any
it's
political.
that is the person who was first present in your life and who for the first 5 years of your life gave you any sort of meaning that you then took into the rest of your world. And for a time, you trusted them. You trusted that they had your best interest at heart, and that this is just the way it was for all kids, that all kids went through this, and when you end up leaving the house and you find out that other kids don't live in abusive, neglectful situations, that's a really heavy hit, and because you have parents in this world who seem to have children like it's a sport to see what kind of a grown human they can come up with, it's there is very little nurture in the parents of people who have been in abusive situations. There's very little nurture, and there's very little empathy. And so trying to have a conversation with somebody that's not ready to understand empathy is like banging your head repeatedly against a brick wall. It will have no effect on the person that you're trying to speak with, but it will have a deleterious effect on you because you continue to be vulnerable and you're getting your hand slapped away every single time. And you can only go through that so many times before you go, I'm just not going to reach out anymore. And when you realize that they are probably no longer healthy people to engage with, then that's a choice that you've got to make. Do you cut them off entirely? Do you respond to them every once in a while to check in, crossing your fingers and hoping that they, like, something miraculous in their life has happened, that all of a sudden they now have empathy because they experienced a situation that was close enough to the situation that you experienced that now they can understand it? It's a hard road to build.
Yep.
Between someone who has done the work and someone who is capable of being vulnerable and having a deep relationship, and someone who is so terrified of dipping a toe into the water, they act like any change around the way that they emote is like acid or lava. It's terrifying. It's terrifying, and I wish that we talked about that more. I wish that we had a deeper understanding of the reasons that people become abusive, and a deeper understanding of just how completely oppressive it is for a child growing up in an abusive household, and how hard it is for someone who has been in an abusive relationship to move past all the trauma responses that they had to build to survive that relationship. It is not an easy process. But again, if you find people that you trust and you have community and you can be vulnerable and be accepted and welcomed enthusiastically and supported, it heals that rift that came from that abusive relationship. But the only way to get on the other end of an abusive relationship is to engage healthy, helpful people, because they'll help you. They'll help give you faith in mankind again.
Yep.
Shed one true cripple. Yeah. Everybody drink. Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
really hard. And like,
Yeah.
it's hard to know how to navigate. And like, just like the way that all of us have to find out what's best for us health wise, we have to find out what's best for us for relationship wise too.
Yeah.
You know, like there's no one size fits all. There's no roadmap. There's no like,
Yeah.
here's how you do that. Like,
Here's how you human with boobs. Here's how you human without boobs.
right. Like it's
Yeah.
very, you've got to like, especially with dealing with abusive family situations or abusive relationships, like
Yeah.
you need to heal from that and you need to recognize that you need to heal and however you like move forward with those relationships. It's hard, you
Yeah.
know, just know that you're not alone. You're not the only person who's going through it.
I will say,
You're not alone.
yeah, you're definitely not alone. I mean, both of us have been in abusive relationships.
But yeah,
Um,
so many.
and you do get on the other side of it.
You do.
You
And you
do
can
get on the
grow
other
and you
side
can
of it.
learn. I have a very good meter now.
Well,
Like
it's
I can
you
smell as
become
soon as I'm like,
almost
okay.
psychic when you know yourself and your rhythms and what your body needs and what your psyche needs to
Mhm,
feel safe and to have your dignity.
mhm,
When you understand that about yourself,
mhm.
it's like you're a lie detector. You can
Yep.
see every single person that's full of shit. And
Mhm,
and and the reason that you see it is because it's almost like you see the weapons in their hands because they're lashing out everywhere. Every conversation is lashing out.
mhm.
And you're like, why didn't I see this before? But
Yeah.
it's because you have a deeper understanding of what a human can be and how a human can feel and move in the world, you know?
And for me, I got to, or I'm entering, I think, a space where I'm starting to like have more compassion, like not necessarily for specific people who abused me, but for people who I can see like having that same energy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can have compassion and say, okay, wow, I see the pain that you're bringing here. I can see all the ways, but because you like, once you've survived that, you can see it. You just,
Oh, yeah.
okay, I can see the patterns. And you'll get to a place where you can be like, okay, I can have compassion for you and if you're at the place where you're ready to change and you want to have these conversations, I'm finally at a place that I can talk to you, but you'll also have so much better boundaries. We're like, yeah, but also you can't treat me like this. As soon as you cross this boundary, like we're done. And like it's not with any malice. And
Yeah.
you're not a bad person for like
Mhm.
really truly you are not a bad person for setting a boundary. You're
Yeah.
not you're not a hero. You're not your
That's how
path
we keep
isn't
ourselves safe.
yeah. Like your path is not to you're not supposed to be here. You're not out here changing people.
Yeah.
Like save yourself first. That's the very first like
Yeah.
that is the first
Got to
step.
put your mask on before you put your mask on your kid.
Yes. You literally have to save yourself first
Yeah.
before you can ever move past or get to a place like
Yeah.
where you can even conceive to think about what ifs. What if they come back in my life? How am I going to respond? Like, no, that's
Yeah.
not. If you were like in the very first stages,
Yeah.
that's
I'm really glad you're safe now, Stray Lego. I'm glad to
yes.
hear that.
Like, get safe and really like your job is to heal yourself from that.
Yeah.
Your job is to build safe relationships outside of the relationships that hurt you right
Yeah.
now. Like, you build a good relationship with yourself and you find a safe and healthy community. That's it. That's
Yeah.
all you have to worry about.
Oh, yeah.
What the other people do, what their flying monkeys do. Okay. I mean, that's just it. It's awful. That's terrible. And you protect yourself. Like, you protect yourself.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
And you work on healing the damage that they did. That's not your
Thank
fault.
you, Resonant Moon.
Yes. But you're doing good,
Yeah.
you know?
There's another message from Astray Lego. I will be moving back to my hometown and they actively seek out conflict because me living my truth and being happy is such a huge threat to them. 100%. Especially now that I have a long-term healthy relationship with someone that stood up against them. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's
Yep.
how like you've ever heard of someone go, man, they changed. And
Mm.
it's when you understand that you don't deserve to be treated like that anymore, you don't accept it. And that pisses abusive people off because they're not getting the food that they need from you.
Yes. Yes. If you have, Why Does He Do That by Lundy Bancroft is a great book. Like, there's free copies on the internet.
Oh
Why
yeah,
does he do that?
yeah.
And
Why does he do that is an amazing
it's
book.
written like for like wives leaving abusive husbands. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty hetero.
Yeah,
It's
it's
pretty
basically
like
Lundy Bancroft was in a therapeutic role, and
mhm,
he spoke with abusive men all the time
right.
about, he was a therapist, and this book is about how they always shift what they're saying, and it's a really good.
It's enlightening.
Yes, I mean
Like
every single thing that you didn't realize was abusive, you'll go, "Holy shit, I had no idea."
it's one of those books that like, you know, it is it's beyond Bancroft, the
Yeah.
author, like tapped into something beyond the scope of what the book originally was.
Yeah.
And you'll read it and then you're like,
Yeah.
oh wow, okay, wow, that's yeah, it's a good one if you can look that up. Pretty sure like it's on Reddit. If you Google it, like we can probably figure out how to get to you if you are interested or haven't read it before, but like
Yeah.
it's a
I'll
good one to
provide
kind of
there's a free PDF of the book online. I
mhm.
will provide it with the video on the website so
Okay, great, yeah.
the people have
It's
access
a
to
good
it.
one to just sort of get like a baseline of like, hey, yeah, I shouldn't be treated this way. And it gives you a good
Yeah,
way to like kind of some strategies to deal with. I think that's the one that brings up stonewalling, right?
I
Is that
believe
the
so.
one? Or gray rocking? Gray rock.
I'm so sorry. Say that again.
I said I think that's the one that brings up gray rocking, right?
I think so.
And it has some strategies to like how to kind of get beyond some of the more emergent, like, and also, God, if you're moving back to your hometown, like, I feel that. I feel that.
Right?
It's hard. But you're like, do what you need to do to keep your peace and to keep your authenticity and to stay safe. And don't let guilt in from outside sources. Like, guilt has no place in your life. There's no place in your life for guilt or shame,
Hmm.
which you have to do to be safe and to be authentic and to live your best life and to have peace, you know? Like,
Yeah.
if there's, like, I don't know your situation, but if you're hoping that they change, like, they might or they might not, but that's not your job
Yeah.
as the person who they victimized.
Yeah. My foot itches like a mofo. Sorry.
Okay. I've got like so many mosquito bites.
Yay,
Living in Louisiana is so fun.
plastic bag distraction. One with ADHD. Woo!
Oh, for real. God, it's crazy.
Yes, if it cost you your peace, it's much too expensive.
Mhm. Yes, absolutely. Put
Yeah.
that on a throw pillow.
Yeah. So one crew cripple asked if we knew of books like that about men leaving abusive women. I have not seen any, but I would imagine
Advice still
you could read
stands.
Lundy Bancroft's book because a lot of abusers use the exact same
I
language.
will say, I will say
Hmm.
that book helped me leave an abusive, like, femme person. They were non-binary,
Yeah.
femme presenting, and this the same tactics. That's what I was saying about like how the book that he was trying to write, the message transcends it. Like, yeah, he wrote it about abusive men because that's the context in which he encountered it. But a lot of the advice, it still stands. Like, just if you need to switch the pronouns or whatever for your situation, but like,
I just posted the link for Lundy Bancroft's Why Does He Do That? It's the PDF.
okay.
Yeah.
It's a really good starting spot. And as far as I know, I don't think there's any books yet about that. But it's a really good look at like why abusive people do what abusive people do. I think it was written what, in the like the 80s
Oh gosh, I don't
or
remember.
90s. Like it's an older book, so it's been out for a while, and it was obviously written in a time that wasn't like, he probably wasn't doing a lot of research into that, but the tactics are the exact same, word for word.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
The
I've had,
language is not gendered when it comes to abuse. It's
yeah,
usually the same complaints,
hmm
usually the same derision, you
and the
know?
same tactics work. Like when you're trying to like gray rock and sort of distance yourself, like the same tactics work. I tried it. I've done it. I've succeeded.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, it's a really good primer on just like, hey, like this is behavior that you may not think is abusive because it isn't like outright like what we see on TV, like, oh wow, that's awful. Like it's not blatant in the way, but like the psychological abuse, the mental abuse, all of that, like he covers, and it's powerful if you're in that kind of a situation. And it can kind of provide some clarity and hopefully provide like sort of a opportunity to get yourself safe.
Yeah.
And then there's like a lot of people too, like if you go on YouTube, there's a lot of people who like expound on that book and tactics
Oh
to
yeah.
keep yourself safe. I mentioned gray rocking a lot.
Yeah.
That's like a specific thing he brings up. And like if you look that up on YouTube, there's a lot of like strategies to keep your peace when you have to, when you are in a situation that you have to deal with these people,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, like sometimes we just do. Like that's life. There
Yeah.
are strategies that you can take to like keep yourself safe. So, hopefully that helps. And good luck.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're not alone.
No, you are not.
And you can do it.
Yeah. Now you got this.
Oh yeah.
It's not fun and it's not easy, but the more that you do it, again, it's like working out. Got the relationship working out.
Mm.
Okay, one true cripple. Love you. Take care. Mm.
Good stuff. And I think like it's funny too. I mean, at least in my experience, kind of going off that, like, so there's abusive relationships, and then there's relationships that are just like not healthy. And I think you go through a phase like after leaving a truly abusive situation where like
Yeah.
you'll get into situations that are maybe not like abusive, but are definitely not healthy.
Well,
You're gonna
it's usually
learn.
because your emotions are compromised
Oh yeah,
because that's what you had to do to survive the last abusive relationship,
exactly.
right? So
Right.
your sense of
You learn
being able to trust
behaviors.
people and I don't want to say judge, but like a judge of someone's character,
Mhm.
that is it's like looking through a broken mirror and it's something you have to relearn.
Oh, 100%. Like you have to like healthy relationships is a skill.
Oh yeah.
And if you've been in an abusive relationship, you're at a disadvantage because you've learned like coping mechanisms that like no one should have to have. But
Yeah.
you have them because you needed them. But like,
Yeah.
I just want to encourage anyone who like gets out of an abusive relationship and maybe has some relationships after that are like, well, it didn't feel great. Like, it's not your fault and you're learning.
Yes.
And it's
It
good
is a
as long
learning
as you're learning.
process.
And it's okay to also walk away from things that aren't necessarily like you can leave situations that are unhealthy. Like it doesn't have to get to abuse for
Yeah.
you to say, like, this isn't for me. Like you
Yeah.
can say, hey, this is not serving my needs. This is
Yeah.
not what I need right now. Like I can walk away.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Because like it's all part of learning. It's hard to do and it's a skill and like
Well, and
as
like
long as
in
you're
last week's
growing.
podcast with Lana,
Hmm.
um, it is learning comes when you are uncomfortable.
Right.
There has to be a source of discomfort for learning
True.
to kind of stay with you. A stray Lego said, I feel more confident about it now, but I still have nightmares. Resonant Moon said that they had a method for breaking out of those nightmares. Um, Create a symbol or sigil for yourself. Maybe draw it on your forearm with permanent marker or something. In the nightmare, try to look at your sigil and remind yourself of where you are now. There's also
I like that
another
too.
way to kind of, I think, people who do liminal dream walking will look at their hands. So if
Hmm.
you're dreaming, look at your hands, you know,
Yep.
or alternately, if there's text somewhere like a book or a movie poster, you won't be able to read it if you look at it.
If you're in a dream, yeah. And it takes time, like
Everything takes time.
it's your
It's all about developing
subconscious,
skills.
yeah, it's your soul like working through it, and it sucks. I mean, oh my God, I had like the most debilitating nightmares for so long to the point that it affected my sleep and that affected jobs. Like I couldn't, it was awful. So I get it. But it does get better. And a lot of that comes from that like creating a sense of safety in your own mind, in your own body, and realizing that you're safe now. Like whatever you can do to reassure your brain, and again, coming back to the somatics,
Yeah.
that you're safe right now, like where you are at this present time is not where you're having nightmares about. Like, and it's not going to be an overnight change. Like, but you can work through it. You have that power to like reassure yourself that you're safe. Um, but the sigil or symbol on your arm is a good one. I've
Hmm.
used that before. Um, Learning to like harness like lucid dreaming, like just regular dreams, or just trying to like take a nap to do like a hey, I'm like gonna slip into dreams and then wake myself up and tell myself like those are skills you can learn. It takes practice, but it can help reduce, you know, the nightmares
Yeah.
stuff. But I am sorry because nightmares freaking suck. Like, they're
It's,
intense and they feel very real.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, and it can like, yeah, no, like 100%. I say it with my full chest, my whole soul.
Hmm.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I have been there. I have had like, I still vividly remember nightmares I had as a child. So, like, you're not alone,
Yeah.
but also like you can get to a place where they're not all nightmares.
Yeah. Yeah. Resonant Moon said, I used to have issues where I couldn't speak in my dreams. I used my sigil to unlock my voice in my dreams. It changed my ownership of my
Cool.
dreams.
That's cool.
And then a stray Lego said, I'd be very interested in a podcast about dream walking and exercises to better manage it. So,
Yes.
Resonant Moon, if you're up for it, let's do it. Yeah. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
let's have that talk.
I've done some oof, stuff with dreams for sure. They're very, very powerful.
I'll see if I can find somebody that is used to high-end dream walking and
Yeah,
get them on the podcast.
that'd be great.
Oh man. I'm just grateful for everybody that showed up tonight. Thank
Yeah,
you
me
for
too.
choosing to spend your valuable time watching us converse about this. It's we are both very grateful. Oh, I think I'm kind of running down. Does anybody have any questions? You look so cute in your fur.
I was say I got my own Viking furs.
That's fantastic.
I think I've said all I wanted to say.
Thank you so much. I
Thank you
am
too. Thank
I
you
am
for.
very grateful for you and for the work that you're doing in the world. I'm so proud of you.
I'm so proud of you too, and I'm so grateful that you like all that you've poured into our relationship. I really do appreciate it. Like truly, truly from the bottom of my heart. Like I would not be where I am today without you. So thank you for that.
Your friendship is a gift.
So is yours. Like really, truly, I'm so glad I know you. And yeah, to everyone listening, like I don't know, learn to love yourself. Your body keeps score. Your body really does truly have all the like look into somatics. It's so liberating, like
Oh
to
yeah.
learn to truly come to a place where you are aligned, like your body and your soul are aligned. It's such a like there's a better life out there.
There really is. There really
It's so
is.
beautiful. It's amazing. Like
It is.
it is so
I
much
am
better than you could
experiencing
imagine.
things that I did not think I would ever experience as a
Yes.
human being in this world.
Like I
It's,
said, the person I was 2 years ago wouldn't have
oh yeah.
ever dreamed that I'd be
Oh
here
yeah.
today. Like a life without shame is possible, and that's
Yeah.
so unspeakably beautiful.
Yeah.
And you're beautiful. Like every person, really, truly, you are so beautiful, and you have so
Yeah,
much to offer the world.
yeah, you do.
Like really,
Yeah.
just be your authentic self. The world's better because you're in it.
Yes. Yes.
Like you're here for a reason, you know.
Yeah.
And healing is possible, and it's possible to be your favorite self.
Yeah, it is. It's possible to be the you that you've always wanted to be.
And even better, like
Oh my God.
I didn't ever think I'd be this awesome,
Yeah.
but really, like
Yeah.
I look at myself sometimes and I'm like, wow, I never thought that I would be like this amazing person that I am today. Like the things that I've overcome and the confidence that I have now is like
Yeah.
I'm not plagued by shame anymore.
Oh,
That's
and
amazing.
it's such a gift. It's such
Yeah,
a
it's
gift.
beautiful. And it's possible that every person is capable of it. Every single person. Like you
Yeah.
can do it. It may not feel possible. And if it doesn't feel possible, lean into that. Like you got it.
Oh
You'll
yeah.
get there.
Yeah. Thank you, Astray Lego. Uh they said you both are pretty rad.
Thanks.
Like, yep, my generation. Outstanding.
I'll use groovy all the time.
I know,
That
right?
was way before me, but it's
Thank
definitely
you
adorable.
for everything.
No,
Uh,
thank you.
thank you for the work that you're doing in the world. Thank you for the work that you're going to continue to do in the world. And it has been a gift to watch you evolve.
Thank you. It's been a gift to watch you as well, and such an honor to know you. Thank you for hosting this, starting these conversations. How powerful and amazing that is.
Yeah.
Like, really, truly, you were doing amazing things, and I'm so honored to be a part of that journey.
Yeah. And thank you, everyone who has joined us for being part of this journey as well. Um, I'm going to go ahead and put the names of the books that we mentioned during the podcast on the website under the episode when I upload it. The video will probably be available on YouTube later tonight. I did miss the first 10 minutes of recording,
And
but yeah, I believe we got, the meat and bones of
I have full faith that what needed to get out is going to get out.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, I do too. I
what
do
people
too.
need to hear, they're going to hear. So
Yeah.
it's all good. It's a learning process, such is life.
Have a wonderful rest of your night, everybody. Thank you for
Bye.
coming. There's going to be another, let me check the calendar. The next broadcast is tomorrow at 2 p.m. So if you wish to tune in, we will be talking about starting relationships with animals. And I'm really looking forward to doing that. I love you, Juniper.
Love you too. Thank you.
Yeah,
Have a
and
great
thank you.
night.
Yeah, you too. You too. All right.
All right.
Stop
Be
recording.
weird, y'all.